We're all trying to figure out the future of work, right? Especially in tech. But what if the jobs everyone's chasing right now are actually on the verge of becoming obsolete? Today, we're going to look past the hype and forecast the roles that are really set to win the AI race by 2030.
I want you to really let that sink in for a second. Because the AI revolution, it's not just about another cool app or a slightly smarter algorithm. We're talking about a fundamental shift, a world where this tech is woven into everything we do. And that's going to demand a totally new breed of engineer to build and manage it all.
And look, this isn't just me guessing. This whole forecast is built on emerging research from some of the biggest names in the game. We're talking MIT, NVIDIA, the World Economic Forum, and the message coming from all of them is crystal clear. The future isn't about building more software. It's about building a world where AI is a safe, reliable, and trusted part of our everyday lives.
So, what's the first big skill you're going to need? Well, it's all about where AI smacks right into the physical world. By 2030, AI won't just be floating around in the cloud. Nope, it's going to be the brain inside delivery drones, surgical robots, and self-driving cars. And that, my friends, creates a massive, massive new engineering challenge.
You see, here's the fundamental problem. The AI brain is, by its nature, probabilistic. It makes educated guesses, it plays the odds. But the robot, the actual physical thing, it has to be deterministic. It has to be perfectly reliable and, above all else, safe. Bridging that gap between a fuzzy best guess output and a precise real-world action is where this whole new field is just exploding.
And this really drives the point home. Think about it. A bug in your photo app, maybe it tags your dog as a cat. Who cares, right? The stakes are super low. But a bug in a warehouse robot that causes it to misidentify a person, that could lead to a physical collision. In the world of robotics, one tiny error can be absolutely catastrophic. The stakes have completely changed.
So what we need now is a whole new kind of engineer. This isn't just a software gig anymore. This person has to be a master of robotics, kinematics, control theory, and real-time operating systems. They need to be blending data from LiDAR, radar, and cameras all at once and running these complex models on tiny edge devices. This combo of skills is so incredibly rare that companies like Boston Dynamics and Tesla are paying an absolute fortune for anyone who can bridge that gap between the digital and the physical.
Okay, so we see how AI is changing the physical world. Now let's talk about how we protect it. Because as these systems get more powerful and more autonomous, the threats are changing in ways that traditional cybersecurity was just, well, it was never built for this. We are entering a brand new battlefield for security. One of the craziest new threats is something called prompt injection. This is a totally new way to attack a system. Basically, a bad actor can hide a secret command inside a totally normal-looking document or question. This hidden command then tricks the AI into ignoring all of its safety rules, and it can be fooled into leaking private data or even running malicious code.
This quote just nails the challenge perfectly. For decades, cybersecurity has been about finding bugs in static code written by humans. But now, we have to protect systems that are constantly learning, adapting, and basically rewriting their own internal logic on the fly. It's a whole different ballgame.
So to fight these new adaptive threats, you need a whole new toolkit. AI security specialists are going to have to master things like adversarial machine learning. That's where you intentionally try to trick your own AI to find its blind spots. They'll be using real-time monitoring to spot when a model starts acting weird. These are the skills that are going to define the winners in this new age of AI security.
All right, so we've talked about protecting AI systems. Now let's talk about making them trustworthy. You know, an AI is only as good as the data you feed it. That old saying, garbage in, garbage out, it has never, ever been more true. Because when your data is flawed, the results aren't just wrong, they can be deeply harmful.
To really get what this means, let's just look at a real-world case study from healthcare. A big, important algorithm was built with the best of intentions. It was supposed to predict which patients were the sickest so that hospitals could give them extra care. Sounds great, right?
Well, here's the fatal flaw. The algorithm wasn't actually looking at health data. Instead, it used a shortcut, a proxy. It used healthcare spending. The model just assumed that people who spent more money on healthcare must be sicker.
And the result was a disaster. Because some groups of people, particularly Black patients, have historically faced barriers to care, they spent less. So the algorithm incorrectly decided they were healthier. It systematically overlooked them for extra care. This is a brutal reminder that an AI biased data can literally become a life or death problem.
To stop disasters like this from happening, we're seeing the rise of a new class of data professionals. Jobs like data auditor and labeling specialist, which used to be seen as pretty entry-level, are now becoming critical, senior roles. These are the people who will be the guardians of our data, making sure AI systems are fair, accurate, and compliant with major new laws like the EU AI Act.
Okay, so we've covered the importance of clean data. Now, let's get into how we actually build AI systems that are not just powerful, but also transparent. And this means we have to solve one of the biggest headaches in AI, the black box problem.
The black box problem really boils down to a single question of trust. I mean, think about it. If an AI denies you a loan or flags a patient as high risk, but it can't tell you why it made that choice, how could you possibly trust it? How do you audit it? In any high-stakes environment, because the computer said so is just not a good enough answer.
And this is where the AI systems engineer steps in. Their job isn't just to build the AI model. Their job is to build the entire trustworthy ecosystem around it. They build transparent data pipelines, they implement layers that can explain the AI's reasoning, and they design crucial fail-safes so a human expert can always step in. They are the ones who turn that black box into a glass box, so we can all see what's going on inside.
Okay, we're on the home stretch. We've talked about building transparent systems, but now we need to talk about how to do it at scale. This brings us to our final and maybe most important skill area. It's about taking AI out of the lab and turning it into an industrial strength operation. Welcome to the MLOps revolution. You know, the single biggest bottleneck in AI right now isn't building one clever model. Any data scientist can do that. The real challenge, the one that every single major company is struggling with, is figuring out how to deploy, monitor, and manage thousands of models, all running in production, without them quietly breaking down.
This is what the MLOps lifecycle is all about. It's this continuous loop. You're automating data pipelines, deploying models at massive scale, and then constantly monitoring them for what's called performance drift. That's just a fancy way of saying the model is getting stale and its predictions are getting worse. Then you automate the retraining and you do it all over again, all while making sure everything is compliant and governed.
So let's just pull it all together. These are the 5 roles that are set to dominate the next decade of tech. The engineers who connect AI to our physical world. The ones who protect it from brand new threats. The specialists to make sure its data is fair and trustworthy. The systems engineers who make its decisions transparent. And the MLOps engineers who make it all run at scale. These are the people who are actually going to build our AI-powered future.
Look, the AI revolution is really just getting started. The rulebook is still being written. We are truly entering a new Wild West of technology, and it's filled with absolutely incredible opportunities for the people who can build, secure, and scale these intelligent systems. So the only question left is, how are you going to prepare?